Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is actually from Relationship Advice and is titled, How Do I, 32 Female, Recover After Seeing a Note About How Ugly and Fat I Am in My Husband's 34 Male Phone. My husband and I were just chilling in the house. He was cooking while I was reading my book. He goes to therapy for himself, and I think it's great. I know he talks about us, discusses sensitive topics before we can talk, and tries his best to deal with things in a healthier way. I wanted to check for some photos he took of me on his phone, and generally speaking, we don't keep our phones off limits from each other. I noticed a widget of notes with my name on it and was curious, so I looked. My wife is fat even 2 years after we had our child, it said. She has a pretty face, but even that gets lost in the frumpy clothing, zero makeup, and double chin. My wife is fat even 2 years after we had our child. She has a pretty face, but even that gets lost in the frumpy clothing, zero makeup, and double chin. Why the would you write? Why would you type this in your phone? Why would you type this in your phone? Why would you?
Not unless you want someone to find it.
Yeah, Candy Thunder said not unless you want somebody to find it. But if you wanted somebody to find that, that's just like, that's being intentionally soul crushing. If that's the case, this crushed me. I know this was private and probably wrote as notes to talk to his therapist about, but this is a bell that can't be unrung. I just silently put his phone away because I didn't want to find anything else. I'm heartbroken because I know now what he feels about me. Sure, our sex life may not be the best right now and my physical fitness has not recovered, but after reading that note, being ugly and fat is all I think about. I am just obsessing over it. I've just been very reserved the past few days, and I'm too embarrassed, angry, humiliated, and unloved to even bring this up to him, if I even can. He's never outwardly expressed that to me, or his behavior/actions isn't aligning with what he wrote in his notes. He is kind to me and treats me well, but I do care about what he genuinely feels, and his feelings about me hurt. How do I move forward? Okay, so question number one here. Question number one, because OP says they generally don't keep their phones off limits from one another. Is it an invasion of private material picking up his phone and opening this note? What do you think about that? Phil Hermit Fairy says that was planned. Dude, if that was planned, he's an absolute garbage piece of shit. I mean, just the fact that he wrote this period it's not good, to put it lightly. But if he put this here intentionally so she would find it, smallest man who ever lived. No, it's not an invasion of privacy. That's the general consensus. No secrets in a marriage, Alan says, and I agree with you. So like to Candy Thunder, like I have therapy journals, and one of them, the first one that I bought, has a little combo lock because I carry it with me. She knows the combination. In a marriage, nothing can be off limits. Personally, nothing. And if he let's assume for argument's sake that this was something that he just put he documented an intrusive thought to address this with his therapist. And maybe at best it would be like I don't agree with these statements. But this is what I said in my head and I felt it and I was disgusted with what I said and felt. So I wanted to document it because I wanted to talk to my therapist about it. I wanted to address how big of a piece of shit I am. That's best case scenario here. And what are the chances that that is the actual scenario here? But the fact that he didn't put in here like, hey, I'm having trouble like being physically attracted to my wife. I'm having trouble, like I'm not feeling sparks. Like I don't know if it's that, we're not like dressing up or trying to be attractive for one another right now. No, what he said was my wife is fat and ugly. Zero understanding involved in these words. Zero, like she's a little overweight. Zero, she still got some baby weight. Just fat and ugly. Makes him a pretty big piece of shit, doesn't it? I can't say that he definitely left this for her to find, because that's the opposite end of the spectrum, right? That's like if you are capable of planting something like this for your loved one to read, knowing that you're dropping a nuke on their heart, like you, smallest man who ever lived. This is the most cowardly, outrageous bullshit I've ever heard of. Speak your mind if that's how you feel. or just leave. Just leave. Just leave. She's already down. You don't have to kick her. So somewhere in the middle ground is probably the truth. And I don't know what that is, but from best case scenario to worst case scenario, it's like ask on 2 to ask on 1 black hole. So in there, like there's no scenario here where he's not an asshole. Candy Thunder, what do you think? Come on up, Tater. Ladies and gentlemen, she has joined us for this Sunday Live. The one and only Tater Thunder.
Tater Thunder.
Tater Thunder.
Yeah. So I think that the pettiness in me would be like she said, the bell can't be unrung. So the pettiness in me would be, I'm going to lose a bunch of weight and divorce your ass. Like that's my initial hurt thoughts. Like that's what I would feel.
Why do I hear Eye of the Tiger playing immediately?
Yeah, that's my anthem. Okay. It's going to be like, I'm going to be, oh yeah, my mode is going to switch to petty bitch mode. That would be like my initial reaction because I'm so hurt by what my husband, the man who's supposed to love me, and, you know, be like my partner in life has said about me. And so I'm hurt. I'm going to lash out. I'm going to be like, initially, I'm going to be petty. I'm going to be angry. I'm probably going to cry a lot. And then I'm going to like reflect on that and see where I want to be. Do I still love this man? Do I still want to be with this man? Can the bell be unrung? For me, no, because if you cared about me at all, you would not write that down. And we all have intrusive thoughts. We all have things that come into our brain that are completely unfiltered that we have no control over. But at some point, his brain should have filtered that and said, like, the question is, does he love this woman or does he not? Because this action shows that he does not love her. Yeah. Like, this action shows that marriage is over. He does not find her attractive. He has fallen out of love with her. And dude, you're raising a toddler. And here's what the part that makes me so angry about this is that he mentioned she doesn't wear makeup. Do you wear makeup, hubby? Are you putting it on every day? Because I'm so like, and I had this conversation with you and I'm like, why do women feel not at their best when we don't wear makeup? Like, why does society make us feel that way? Why does society tell us that we're not supposed to look a certain way when we go out? We're supposed to be put together. We're supposed to fix our hair. We're supposed to do all these things. And if we don't do those things, we're fat, we're ugly, we're frumpy, and we don't wear makeup. Like, that's not fair because this dude isn't walking around his house with a full face of makeup. Like, and that part pisses me off.
And he comparatively, you know, would never look at himself and say the same thing. Or maybe he would. Maybe he's just like, that's his self-talk projected outward for a second. Maybe that's entirely the case. But what you mentioned about, you know, what you don't do, or what if you don't wear makeup, and if you like, so, take a look at most of the dudes who are walking around, right? Like, it is very much a double standard, and yeah, I don't know when that changes in the future, right? Like at some point, maybe that'll change, but there's this flip side of the coin where like these chains that you've been given with makeup and dressing cute and looking put together, you also enjoy those things.
I enjoy those and that's where I was going with that. And I love makeup. I don't love a lot of makeup, but I love makeup. I love putting myself together, but I do that twice a week, maybe.
You look hot all the time. So I don't know.
But you never make me feel less than for not putting myself together every single day. No,
even if you outwardly do feel less than to yourself.
Correct. And that's because you love me, and I know that you love me. But to open your husband's phone and see your name on a note, and don't act like you're not going to read it, because we're all going to read it. We see our name on somebody else's phone, we're going to read it. That's human nature. Like, you're going to want to see what it says. I would love to know how many people are going to put that phone back face down on the ground, on the counter.
I'm stronger than this. I'm
not. I'm going to read it. If I see my name, I'm going to read it.
I'm going to somewhere on my phone hide a note named Tater. Oh. And when you open it up, it's going to be like an image of a potato.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like really like how much you loved me.
Oh, yeah, I could do that too.
And he says an image of a potato.
It'd be like...
My point in all of this is that Pandora's box was opened, and it can't be unopened because she now knows how the man who is supposed to be her partner sees her. And yes, you shouldn't measure yourself through somebody else's eyes, but if your partner thinks things like these are probably deep thoughts. All women have these thoughts. We all feel insecure about things about ourselves. how much we pay attention to those is the question, but she has insecurities, I'm sure. And she just found out that the person that is supposed to be her partner sees all of them and is calling her out and is using it as a reason not to be with her. Like those are things that can't be undone. So for me, I don't think I could move forward in this relationship.
Yeah.
Knowing that you think that I'm fat and ugly, like those are such derogatory terms to use in that way. And that's a shitty thing to say to someone that you're supposed to love.
I feel like, so what she did was like silently just put it down and walked away. Right. I feel like,
how do you think I would react?
I feel like you would react the same way that I would. You'd march right over to my ass and be like, what the fuck is this, you cowardly piece of shit? And that's the conversation that needs to happen, right? Like, I would be wanting answers. Like, how are you going to feel like this? And number one, stay with me. Right. And just be fake to me every day. Like, which is a lie? Is the lie that I see every day? Or is this the lie? And if this is the lie, well, why? Right. Like what? Explain yourself.
Right. And let's not put notes in our phones where people can see them that have their names on them. And maybe filter your intrusive thoughts just a little bit more if you actually love that person. Like, now, that's your brain's job. We did talk about this. We did talk about, so like in the therapy journals that I keep, like intrusive thoughts. And I don't read his therapy journals.
But she can. But that's for me to write these feelings that I'm feeling, however, like unfiltered, right? Mm-hmm. Write what your brain is telling you. And then, but the point is to come back to it later and audit those thoughts when you've had a chance to cool off, or when you're in a different frame of mind, and look at it and audit it and say, here's what was really going on there. That's not true. Like this. And even if he was doing this, like, what are you going to come back and say that makes this okay? It doesn't matter. Like even just thinking that thought, that's where I'm at. I'm so disappointed in this guy because even just thinking that thought feels like a betrayal of vows to me.
Right. That's what I was saying. Yeah. You can't come back from it.
No.
It just, at that point, he's already resenting her. Like that's resentment in that statement. That's, you're not putting forth an effort for me. And are you putting forth an effort? The effort that you put forth for women is completely different than the effort that men appreciate. Women appreciate the things that you do for us, how you make us feel. And I think men are more driven by,
I don't know,
whether or not we wear makeup. Apparently you don't care. Dude, it's Nikki said, I hardly ever wear makeup, but when I do, I'm always like, damn, I'm looking sexier than normal, right? Like it makes you feel good about yourself, but you don't have to have it. Like you don't have to put it on your face in order to define who you are.
Yeah, I guess if it's something you have to do, you might as well have fun with it.
Yes.
Same thing with like clothing. I mean, just generally, like we all have to wear clothing, so why not have fun with it, right? And
I love to wear clothing.
Yeah, I love to wear clothing as well.
For myself.
Well, yeah, me too. Most of the time.
Oh wait.
A lot of times.
And the days that I wear makeup are normally the days that I stand right here. Every other day is not. Unless I'm filming, there's no.